Guys, I know it's been a while since I put up a video, but I came across this really cool solo in the new DispersE song, Gabriel. And there's a really cool tapping, sweeping section right in the middle. So I thought it'd be fun to break it down and see what's going on. So the solo happens like 3.5 minutes into the song. The part that I'm going to be talking about specifically is at 3 minutes and 35 seconds of the playthrough video, which I will link in the description. The video is awesome and you can see exactly what he's doing. So watch that with this and hopefully it'll be helpful. So this is at 3:35 and this is the section that we'll be breaking down. Cool. So I'll bring the camera in and take a close look at how to play this. So the first part is the arpeggiated tapping section, and this is what it sounds like, just played slowly. So the first part here is starting on the G string with my index finger, 13th fret, and hammering onto the 14th. There's a lot of hammer-ons from nowhere here. He only picks, I think, like the first and then the third note. So pick, hammer, and then I'm up here on the 12th of the E. And the rest of it is all tapped. There's no more picking that goes on. So you have, so this is 12, 16, 17 on the high E, and back down. So I have 13, hammer 14, 12, 16, 17, 16, 12. And then my middle finger comes down here to the 18th of the G. And then back down to the 13, 14 where I started. So this note, this tapped 18, you skip it in the beginning. You just go 13, 14, straight up to 12. But then you come back down to it. As you're descending, you come down and tap this note. And then you go up again. So we have 13, 14, then up to the E string, 12, 16, 17, 16, 12, 18, 14, 13, 14, 18, 14, 13. Now I'm down here. This is the 19th of the A. And I play 19, pull 16, pull to 12, and then back up again. So far we have, it's a string skipping tapping lick. So you're on the G to the E to the G down to the A. So we have, so that's what I have so far. Now we're going to go back up to the G string at 13 again, but instead of playing this shape that we've played, the shape changes to here. So it's 13, 16, 18. So after we come down and up from this A, hammering on again from nowhere, 13, 16, 18, and then pull off 16, 13, 14. So you have this. So altogether so far we have slowly. So after this part, my index finger is going to reach up here to the 12th of the B string, which we haven't played yet. And I'm going to play 12, 16, 17, and back down. So, and then we descend back through the G string shape that we just played. So it might sound a bit confusing, but the last part here is so the last two strings are both descending. So altogether we have And then after I play this last note, this last 13, I'm going to slide up to the 16th fret on the G. So now this is the second part of the tapping string skipping lick. And after we slide up here, we do a slide to 16 and a hammer on with my ring finger to 18. Now, this starts this next section, which sounds like. So this is a slide, hammer, and then skip the B. Now, the usual shape of this arpeggio might include this note on the 17th. I didn't hear him play it. In fact, it looks like he's just... So slide up, skipping the B altogether and going straight to this tapping part up here. But you can include... This is a nice passing note if you want to include it, but I don't think he's playing it. So we have slide up, hammer, then pick again. This is the only other pick that happens. And I'm picking on the 16th of the high E. Tap 19, tap 21, and then tap 23. And now this time I am going to descend through the 17 that I didn't play before. So, and this is an upward sweep. So altogether, right now we have very Rick Graham sounding. So up this way, and then I'm going to slide back down to 13 and hammer 14 again. So, and then I'm going to pick. So now we're getting into the sweep picking section. So after we've done this, I'm going to be playing this like major-ish cool sounding shape. So hammer on 14, sweep up to 14, 12, 16. And then there's a double pickup. Instead of just going like you would normally sweep and just touch the note once at the top, he's double picking it. So he's going. And at this point, we're descending through this minor shape. So this is 16, 12, 14, 13, 14, 16, 12. And I'm going to continue on to the low E, 16, 12 again. So and I'm sliding all the way down to 9. So coming out of the top tapping lick again. So remember to double pick at the top there. So now we're down at this spot. So the whole thing together so far sounds like this. So it is pretty messy. I'm not that great at it yet, but there's something really cool about it sounding messy with the low gain. It sounds like, yeah, very, very odd, but really cool sounding, especially like with all the reverb and the cool ambient, backing that's playing behind him. So now we're down here, and now we're going to ascend in another sweep shape, which is a different shape. It's kind of odd. So I'm at the 9 in the low E. I'm going to go 9, 12 on the A, 14 on the D. And my middle finger is going to come up to 11 on the G. And then my index is going to come back to 9 and play the B and the E. Then pinky over 14 on the high E. It's a really weird shape, and he's actually, if you listen back, he's running through the shape really fast. Like, and so I think it's actually intentional to not get all the notes out, because he doesn't, but every time he plays it, it sounds like that. It's kind of just like a cool, flourishy, passing sweep. Because he's just going to run around. Really, the important notes are kind of where you start and where you end, which is so like antithetical, and I hate to say that about sweep picking in general, because in sweeping it's super important that you are getting the clarity out of every single note. But because of his style in this particular section, it's sort of just like almost like just a string, swipe. It sounds like a shitty sweep, which is kind of what it is, but it's like on purpose. So we send up this way, and then slide up to 16, and pull off to 11. Then play this down, this upward sweep shape, which is 16, 11, 12 on the B, 13 on the G, 14 on the D, then pull off to 11 on the D. And then I'm back up this way, which is the B is an octave to the 11 I just played, 14 on the B, and then you have this the end of the phrase, which is just 14, 12, and 13 on the G. So altogether, here's what we have, slowly. So that's the whole phrase. I'll see if I can't play it up to speed with him. Right. So something like that. But I guess a couple performance notes. Those are the notes that he's playing, and that's, at least the picking and the fingering that's going on. But again, it's important to keep in mind a couple of things if you want to play it like he plays it. I mean, you can always just play it however the hell you want. But the way that he plays these types of things is the volume knob is turned off usually, not off, but it's turned like 75% off. So the tone is usually a pretty sustained high gain tone, but because he rolls off the volume knob, you get this really like crunchy, muted type tone, which is good. That's what you want. So you almost want the notes to barely make it out. And he's got the type of equipment that can sort of sustain that sound. I don't. So these notes are dying pretty quickly, but it definitely sounds a lot cooler. That's more appropriate than if you were to just like have a really high gain, messy type tone. And also, the tapping is pretty clear, sound wise. You can hear most of the notes. The sweeping at the beginning is pretty clean, but then when you get to this part, he's sort of just running through it, which again, not good sweep practice, but for the purpose of the solo, it sounds cool. That's kind of the point, right? So when you get to these parts, I would make sure that you do practice it and be able to get the clarity out of those notes. But due to the rolled off knob and the speed at which you're playing, it's kind of cool and okay to not bring them all out. And yeah, I guess that about does it. So I hope this was helpful. Watch the video. I'll post it in the description, and practice. Have fun. See ya.